The red dress. In the small, fog-shrouded town of Ravensbrook, there was an old thrift shop called Second Chances. It was a quaint little store, run by a kindly old woman named Martha, who had a knack for finding the most interesting items. The shop was a treasure trove of forgotten memories and hidden gems, and the townspeople loved to browse its dusty aisles. One autumn day, a young woman named Emily moved to Ravensbrook. She was new to town, having recently started a job at the local library, and she was eager to explore her new home. While wandering through the town square, she stumbled upon Second Chances and decided to take a look inside. As she browsed the racks of vintage clothing, something caught her eye: a stunning red dress. It was made of fine silk, with intricate lace detailing around the collar and sleeves. The dress seemed out of place in the dusty thrift shop, its vibrant colors standing out against the muted tones of the other garments. Emily felt an inexplicable urge to try it on. She took the dress to the fitting room and slipped it on, marveling at how perfectly it fit her. She felt beautiful, elegant, and confident in a way she never had before. Deciding it was too good to pass up, she purchased the dress and wore it out of the store. That evening, Emily attended a town gathering at the community center. She wore the red dress, and heads turned as she entered the room. People complimented her on the dress, and she basked in the attention. But as the night wore on, she began to feel uneasy. She caught glimpses of shadows moving out of the corner of her eye, and a chill seemed to follow her wherever she went. When Emily returned home, she hung the dress in her closet and went to bed, trying to shake off the feeling of unease. That night, she had a series of disturbing dreams. She saw herself in a grand, old mansion, wearing the red dress. In the dream, she was surrounded by faceless figures who seemed to be watching her with malevolent intent. She tried to run, but the dress seemed to hold her in place, its fabric tightening around her like a vice. Emily woke up in a cold sweat, the memory of the dream lingering. She decided to put the dress away, thinking it was just a coincidence. But the dreams persisted, growing more vivid and terrifying each night. She would wake up feeling drained and exhausted, the sense of being watched growing stronger. Desperate for answers, Emily decided to visit Martha at Second Chances. She explained her experiences, and Martha's face grew pale. The old woman led Emily to a back room, where she pulled out an old photo album. She flipped through the pages until she found a picture of a woman wearing the same red dress. Martha explained that the dress had once belonged to a woman named Victoria Blackwood, a wealthy socialite who had lived in Ravensbrook over a century ago. Victoria was known for her beauty and charm, but she had a dark reputation. It was rumored that she was involved in the occult and had made a pact with a sinister entity to maintain her youth and beauty. One night, during a grand ball at her mansion, Victoria was found dead, her face frozen in an expression of terror. The dress she was wearing disappeared, only to resurface decades later. Martha believed that the dress was cursed, bound to Victoria's spirit and the dark forces she had invoked. Emily, terrified, begged Martha to help her break the curse. The old woman agreed and instructed Emily to bring the dress to Victoria's old mansion, which now stood abandoned on the outskirts of town. That night, Emily and Martha ventured to the mansion. The air was thick with fog, and the atmosphere was oppressive. They entered the decaying building, its walls covered in dust and cobwebs. Martha led Emily to the grand ballroom, where Victoria had died. Martha performed a ritual, chanting ancient incantations and sprinkling salt around the room. Emily placed the dress in the center of the circle they had created. As the ritual progressed, the room grew colder, and a dark presence filled the air. The dress began to writhe and twist as if possessed by a malevolent force. Suddenly, the figure of Victoria appeared, her ghostly form shimmering in the dim light. Her eyes were filled with a mix of sorrow and rage as she reached out toward Emily. Martha continued her chanting, her voice growing louder and more urgent. With a final, powerful incantation, the spirit of Victoria let out a piercing scream and vanished, the dress bursting into flames. Emily and Martha watched as the flames consumed the dress, leaving nothing but ashes. The air grew warm again, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. The curse had been broken, and Victoria's spirit was finally at rest. Emily thanked Martha and returned home, feeling a sense of relief and freedom. The nightmares ceased, and she no longer felt the eerie sensation of being watched. She continued to visit second chances, grateful for Martha's help and the kindness of the townspeople. The story of the red dress and its cursed past became a legend in Ravensbrook, a cautionary tale about the dangers of vanity and the dark forces that lurk beneath the surface of seemingly beautiful things. And though the dress was gone, the memory of its sinister power remained, a reminder that some treasures are better left forgotten.